Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel IAS Commando. So in this video we are going to see some tricks and techniques so that you don't commit silly mistakes in the examination and maximize your score in the exam. So when you are not committing silly mistakes in the examination, ultimately your cutoff is crossed, alright. So if you are that student who has committed some mistakes, but if you are trying to maximize your silly mistakes, so that will automatically put you in the zone of cutting of clearing the cutoff. All right, and if you are someone who has cleared the cutoff, so that will put you in a position of peace of mind, so that you can definitely prepare for mains with surety. All right, so let's see what are the techniques so that we can use. For example, if you see this question, it is said that consider the following statement. The winds which blow between 30° north and 60° south latitude throughout the year are known as westerlies. Now, everybody knows that from 30° north to 60° north and from 30° north south to 60° south we will find westerlies. All right, but here a small play is there, that in one statement in one it is written north and one it is written south. Now if you are in a hurry and you are anxious about in the examination, you will definitely fall into the trap of the examiner, because this is the trap set by the examiner, all right, to eliminate the one who is not very vigilant. All right, so don't fall into the trap of the examiner. Use your pen, use your pencil, and keep underlining the statements that you have. All right, so keep underlining the statements as of the question as well as of the answer if it is a statement type answer. All right, so let's see in the next question. Now see, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India. Now, see the preamble. All right, in the preamble of the Constitution, all these words occur. All right, and not in the directive principle of the state policy, but in the fundamental duties too. But if you underline it, you know that it is given to, all right, so to uphold and protect the sovereignty and unity and integrity of India. So you get to pick up the fundamental duties. All right, so very basic question, but don't commit silly mistake. All right. Uh, Now see next. Now see in this question, it is given uh, the fundamental objective of Panchayati Raj. All right. So the fundamental objective, it is said, is to ensure which among the following. Now if you are reading the question in a very hurry, so now see the option. People participation in development. Yes, it is one of the objectives of the Panchayati Raj that people should participate in the development of their area. Political accountability. Yes, democratic decentralization, yes, and financial mobilization, yes. Financial mobilization does happen when Panchayati Raj system is there, but it is said that the fundamental object of Panchayati Raj system. So, what is the fundamental object of Panchayati Raj system? It is democratic decentralization, all right, and it is people participation in development. So, you get 1 and 3 answer. Otherwise, if you are reading this question very loosely, you may mark 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so don't commit this mistake. So if you are using your pen, you are using your pencil, then you would definitely underline fundamental objective, and you will remember this keyword while you are answering in the examination. All right, so let's move on. And now see the ideal of welfare state in the Indian Constitution. Now, if you remember, all right, in the preamble, the word socialist is mentioned. So, what socialist ultimately means is that welfare state. All right. So, because socialism is for welfare of the people, so welfare state. But if you see directive principle of state policy, especially if you are reading from the Lakshmikant, there are some directive principle of state policy which are there for welfare state. All right. So those directive principles, so welfare state, the ideal of that is enshrined in what? It is enshrined in directive principle of state policy. So don't overthink or confuse. All right, directly mark directive principle of state policy, because you know it is given in Lakshmikant. Now see again this question. There is a parliamentary system of the government in India, because now if you see all these statements are correct. All right. all these statements are correct in themselves, but do they cater to the question? All right. So parliamentary system का पूछा है, तो राज्यसभा cannot be dissolved. Yes, it cannot be dissolved, but is it the reason why we have parliamentary system in the government of India? No. Now see, Parliament can amend the constitution, all right, but it is the reason why we have parliamentary system of government? No. And then Lok Sabha is elected directly by the people, yes, but वो तो democracy की बात हो गई. What is it about parliamentary system? Now we know that parliamentary system, Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha, all right. So that is why we have parliamentary system. Now again, see this question. Local self-government can be best explained as an exercise. So there was a lot of fight in different forums and some answer keys also that year. So and some coaching centers also gave the example federalism instead of democratic decentralization. But it is not that way. All right. The answer is democratic decentralization only because it is said it can be best explained as. So if you see federalism is not entirely wrong. Why? Because there is a delegation of power from one tier of the government to the another tier of the government. So it can be said it's a federal setup, but federalism does not mean that. All right. And then there is administrative delegation. Yes, there is delegation of the power. There is delegation of the functions to the Gram Sabha, and there is direct democracy also in the Gram Sabha. Why? Because whenever any issue is discussed in the Gram Sabha, the participants take the decision about what will happen. So yes, there is an element of direct democracy is also involved. But see what it is given can be best explained as. So what is it is democratic decentralization. All right. Let's move on. With reference to the Constitution of India, the directive principle constitute limitations upon. So legislative function or executive function. So basically when it is set in the Constitution of India, these are the directives that are given. See, whenever you are framing a legislation, all right. So what Constitution is saying that you are directed to do this way and that way, all right. And if you see directive principle of state policy are not justiciable, so they are not limiting the legislative and executive function, all right. What they are doing is they are giving a direction, they are pointed towards a direction. So whenever you are making any legislation, for example, if you are making any legislation for corporate or business purpose, so do keep in mind that welfare of the people has to be catered to, all right. So this is the kind of, it is not limiting, because when it is not justiciable, so it is not limiting, all right. So it is that, all right. But then there was a lot of in different forums and as well as some coaching institute also gave that it constitutes a limitation upon it. But then sorry, when the when the final answer keys came, so it was neither one or two, all right. So now let's see the next question. In the context of mitigating impending global warming due to anthropogenic emissions of carbon dioxide, which of the following can be the potential sites for carbon sequestration? All right. Now you see this question. Actually, it was in also in news that year. But see, for carbon sequestration, we need a environment where carbon can be sequestered under pressure, all right. So where we will get pressure? In abandoned and uneconomic coal seams, in depleted oil and gas reserve, and subterranean deep saline formation, all right. So 1, 2 and 3 become answers, all right. So these are very general questions, all right. These are very general questions, so you can definitely, if you are trying to click a keyword, because here, because you need pressure to sequester carbon, so definitely these are the places where pressure is higher, all right, so that the gases cannot escape. So definitely these three can be the answer. Let's see more. See, who among the following can join the national pension system? All right. So see, it is said that resident Indian citizens only. All right. So this is a very big criteria because every resident Indian cannot join the national pension system. Person of age from 21 to 55 only. No, this is also not there. And all state government employees joining the services after the date of notification by their respective state government. All right. And then all central government employees, including that of armed forces, joining the services on or after 1st April. Now you see armed forces, it is given here. All right. So when armed forces is given here, this statement automatically becomes wrong. All right. This statement automatically becomes wrong because we know that armed forces are fighting for one rank, one time, one pension. The pension system in armed forces is definitely different than for the regular government civil employees. All right. So here our answer was C. All right. So you just have to be very attentive because see, these two does not seem very logical, and when you see this armed forces here, so that should be the moment you cancel this and put your correct answer to this. All right. So this is how you can do this question. Now again, see, it is possible to produce algae based biofuels, but what are the likely, see, what are the likely limitations it is saying of developing countries and promoting the industry. All right. So now it is saying the production of algae-based biofuels is possible in seas only and not on continent. So this seems to be a very extreme statement. So we can cancel this. All right. And then we have 2 and 3 in our answer. But see, for long it has been said that wherever you see words like only, any, so you cancel that. But it is not entirely true. We will see one statement in the upcoming questions that just negates this logic. All right. But you can definitely use it as applicable in most of the cases, that only or any. If it's a very extreme statement, you can definitely cancel it. But ऐसा नहीं करना है कि जस्ट ये वर्ड देख लिया तो हमने वहीं कैंसिल कर दिया. All right. We don't have to do this. All right. Let's move on. Now see this question. Which of the following are the objectives of the National Nutrition Mission? All right. So create awareness relating to malnutrition among pregnant women and lactating mother. Now it is about creating awareness. All right. So this statement is very general. It can be kept in our answer to reduce the incidence of anemia among young children, adolescent girls, and women. So yes, definitely, this is also the primary incentive to for any nutrition mission. Now you see, it is said to promote the consumption of millets, coarse cereals, and unpolished rice. All right. So this can also be considered, but unpolished rice, like even millets तक भी अगर होता तो तब भी consider कर लिया जाता था, but then coarse cereal and unpolished rice is not true. All right. And then you see to promote the consumption of poultry eggs. So that is definitely not the objective of National Nutrition Mission. All right. It may be one of the missions of Department of Animal Husbandry, but not here. So we get this C and D is already cancelled, and now you see this unpolished rice does not seem very good objective. All right. Even coarse cereal or millet be considered कर ले तो unpolished rice तो नहीं भूलेगा. So then you cancel this also, and then I think 1 and 2 will become your answer. All right. So यहाँ इसको cancel करके तो इन दोनों को eliminate किया जा सकता है, but then यहाँ पे ये फंसता है. And when this comes here, तो then see this. All right. Unpolished rice basically नहीं दिया जाता है. Now again move on. So see this question. In the context of India, which one of the following is correct relationship? All right. Which one of the following is correct relationship between rights and duties? Now see, if any political science student is doing this question, he or she would know that rights are correlated with duties. This is a statement by Harold J. Lasky, and they will definitely mark it correct. Why? Because इंडियन सोशलिज्म से वो इतना दूर भी नहीं है, बिकॉज फेबियन सोशलिज्म के बेसिस पे का इन्फ्लुएंस था व्हेन इंडियन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन वाज मेड. ऑलराइट. तो देन दिस इज वेरी इजी फॉर अ पॉलिटिकल साइंस स्टूडेंट, क्योंकि उसने तो ये डायरेक्ट स्टेटमेंट पढ़ा हुआ है. बट देन Still, let's analyze. So, rights are personal and hence independent of duties and societies and duties. तो बहुत ही contradictory statement है. We can mark it as a wrong. All right, because हमारे में ऐसे भी rights हैं जिनको लागू करने के लिए it is important that other people also recognize other people's right. All right, and then rights not duties are important for advancement of the personality of the citizen. All right, and it is not like that. So again, this is one of the extreme statements. All right, and then duties not rights are important for the stability of the state. All right, again one of the extreme statements. तो यहाँ पे वैसे भी correct हो जाता है, but then I would not go into reading all these if I'm a political science students, but non-political science students should definitely read this. All right, now let's move on. So now see this question, बहुत ही लंबा सा question लग रहा है, but then you will be definitely be able to solve it. Now see, with reference to the role of UN Habitat in United Nations program working towards a better urban future, which of the following statement are correct? So it is saying that UN Habitat has been mandated by the UNGA to promote socially and environmentally sustainable towns and cities to provide adequate shelter for all. All right. Now see, it is given this way. So obviously, any organization like that of UN Habitat, तो उसका यही होगा ना कि it is एक socially inclusive और sustainable towns बनाए जाए, all right, जिसमें सबके लिए जगह हो. Very general statement, very positive statement can definitely be included in our answers. So its partners are either government or local urban authorities only. So this statement is wrong. Why? Because it is only, and actually UN Habitat उस समय news में भी था. So all the kinds of organizations that are working, for example, जो materials की efficiency के लिए work कर रहे हैं, there were some research organization also there. So this kind of mix was there in the UN Habitat program. So definitely ये वाला statement wrong हो जाता है. तो जब ये वाला statement wrong हो जाता है, हमारा first वाला statement correct हो जाता है, तो हमको ultimately 1 and 3 आंसर मिल जाता है. And अगर आप देखिए, UN Habitat contributes to the overall objective of the United Nations system to reduce poverty and to promote access to safe drinking water and basic sanitation. Now one थिंग इज दैट कि यूएन के अंदर जितनी भी बॉडीज आएगी तो वो पॉवर्टी तो रिड्यूस करने के लिए एम करेंगी ही. ऑलराइट, एंड सेफ ड्रिंकिंग वाटर एंड बेसिक सैनिटेशन हैबिटेट का सबसे बड़ा सबसे की पॉइंट्स होते हैं. सो डेफिनेटली यू आर गोइंग टू इंक्लूड दैट इन योर आंसर सो दैट दिस बिकम्स 1 and 3 इवन इफ यू हैव नेवर read about UN Habitat. Alright, so let's move on. So this is how you can see, keep underlining so that you don't commit silly mistakes. Now see, this question. This question is that this question is given. All right. The identity platform Aadhaar provides APIs. What does it imply? It can be integrated into any electronic device. All right. So now it is given that it can be integrated into any electronic device. तो अभी APIs जो आधार दे रहा है. So in my opinion, I thought that only devices where interfaces to provide or authenticate identity is required. वहाँ पे आधार की APIs use होंगे. Alright, but then it is given into any electronic devices. So, for example, our smartwatch is there. Alright, so I didn't find it कि एक statement बहुत ही ज़्यादा correct है. So for me, this was wrong, and then this was online authentication using iris is possible. So we know that yes, online authentication using iris is possible. So whenever you want to update sorry, so whenever you want to update your Aadhaar, so definitely you go for iris scan and then your information is updated. So online authentication using iris is possible, yes, but this statement was also correct and it came like that in the examination. तो ये any वाला जो concept है और only वाला जो concept है वो हमेशा काम नहीं आता. All right, so this statement was given correct in the examination, and then in one of the newspaper ऐसी line थी, and that line was copied from the newspaper directly, and so this option was correct. ऑल राइट. सो एनी ओनली के स्टेटमेंट्स भी जो है वो आप चेक कर लीजिए बिफोर यू मार्क द आंसर ब्लाइंडली. ऑल राइट. सो लेट्स मूव ऑन. Then you see a Right to Education Act. To be eligible for appointment as a teacher in a state, a person would be required to possess the minimum qualification laid down by the concerned state council of teacher education. All right. And then again, it is said that as per RTE Act, for teaching primary classes, a candidate is required to pass a teacher eligibility test conducted in accordance with the National Council of Teacher guidelines. All right. So for me, what my logic was to mark answer in this question was that these two statements are mutually exclusive. All right. So once it is saying that qualification is laid down by State Council of Teacher Education, and then it is said that eligibility testing is according with National Council of Teacher Education guidelines. All right. So both statements are contradictory, but there may be some qualification laid down by the State Council of Teacher Education. But mostly what is there that as per the RTE Act, it National Council of Teacher Education के guidelines है, and it belongs to that. All right. So this seems to be more appropriate. And then it is saying in India more than 90% of the education institution, teacher education, are directly under the state government. So more than 90% is an extreme statement. All right. So definitely 3 is not correct. For me, 1 and 2 were contradictory, so I will not mark 1 and 2 together. So I mark 2 only. All right. So this was my logic while doing the question in the examination, and it turned out to be correct. Now see this question. This question can easily be done wrong if you are not very vigilant. All right. So it is saying with reference to Parliament of India, which of the parliamentary committee scrutinizes and reports to the House whether the power to make regulation, rules, sub-rules, bylaws, etc. conferred by the constitution or delegated by the parliament are being properly exercised by the executive within the scope of the delegation. So definitely जब rules, sub-rules और bylaws की बात आती है तो there is a committee on subordinate legislation. All right. So for example ये क्या कह रहा है कि अगर आपका law बना, all right, आपने law बनाया, उस law की scrutiny के लिए कोई कमेटी बैठती है ना, कमिटीज को दिया जाता है, बट देन इस लॉ के रूल्स भी तो बनेंगे, रेगुलेशंस भी तो बनेंगे. वो लॉ अपने आप में ही तो इम्प्लीमेंट नहीं होएगा. रूल्स, रेगुलेशन, सब रूल्स, बाई लॉज की जरूरत होती है किसी भी लॉ को इम्प्लीमेंट करने के लिए. तो वो विद इन द पैरामीटर्स ऑफ दैट लॉ बैठ रहा है कि नहीं, वो कहाँ पे ऑर्गन है, वो कहाँ पे देखा जाता है, इन द कमिटी ऑफ सबऑर्डिनेट लेजिस्लेशन. रूल्स कमिटी डेफिनेटली कुछ लोग मार्क करके आए थे. All right, and they will also fight in the examination. Also, they were fighting with me. But then rules committee किस लिए होती है? पार्लियामेंट के रूल्स, जो पार्लियामेंट में प्रोसीजर्स हो रहे हैं उसमें क्या रूल्स हो रहे हैं, उसके लिए आपकी रूल्स कमिटी है. ऑल राइट. सो बिकॉज इसमें पार्लियामेंट कमिटीज का बार बार नाम ले रहे हैं, तो डेफिनेटली आपको रूल्स कमेटी के साथ जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. कमेटी ऑन सबऑर्डिनेट लेजिस्लेशन के साथ जाइए, अंडरलाइन करिए इन वर्ड्स को, रूल्स, रूल्स, बाय लॉज, all right, conferred by the constitution or delegated by the parliament are properly exercised with, तो आपको पता चलेगा कि it is a committee on subordinate legislation. All right, so this is how you answer this question. Now again let's see this question. अभी ये क्वेश्चन आया था कि NFSA 2013 के बारे में, families coming under the category of BPL only are eligible to receive subsidized foods. सो नाउ यू नो कि बहुत सारा न्यूज में चल रहा था कि 60% इंडिया की पॉपुलेशन आ रही है विद इन द NFSA एक्ट. ऑल राइट. तो मतलब 60% पॉपुलेशन को सब्सिडाइज ग्रीन मिल रहे हैं, एंड 75% ऑफ द रूरल पॉपुलेशन एंड 50% आई थिंक ऑफ द अर्बन पॉपुलेशन उसमें आती है. सो देन यू गेट द एवरेज ऑफ 60%. ऑल राइट. सो एंड यू नो कि BPL तो सिर्फ 27% है. सो स्टेटमेंट 1 डेफिनेटली बिकम्स रॉन्ग. तो हम ये और ये तो क्रॉस आउट कर ही सकते हैं. एंड देन सी द एल्डेस्ट वुमेन इन अ हाउसहोल्ड ऑफ एन एज 18 years और above shall be the head of the household for the purpose of the ration card. So this statement is correct. So whenever you are reading about the schemes in the schemes booklet, तो आपको ये स्टेटमेंट एनएफएसए में जरूर मिल जाएगा। सो ये बी हमारा करेक्ट हो जाता है। एंड देन थर्ड स्टेटमेंट को हमको एवेल्युएट करने की उतनी जरूरत नहीं पड़ती है, बट जो प्रेग्नेंट वुमेन और लैक्टेटिंग मदर्स हैं उनके लिए टेक होम राशन 1600 कैलोरीज से तो ज्यादा ही होगा, बिकॉज वो तो नॉर्मल कैलोरीज हैं, एंड देन यू नीड मोर कैलोरीज व्हेन यू आर एन एक्सपेक्टिंग मदर। ऑल राइट, सो दैट इज देयर। एंड उसमें बेसिकली एनएफएसए के अंदर 6000 रुपीज देने का प्रोविजन है। सो दिस इज हाउ वी मार्क दिस क्वेश्चन, करेक्ट। So, so these are some tricks or techniques आपको underline करना है. You have to use some of your logic, alright, and then you will definitely get your questions correct in the examination. So keep underlining. That will help you focus in the examination. Thank you so much for the discussion. We'll meet in the next video. Thank you so much.